Audio check, testing the audio. Audio check. Audio check. Audio check. Welcome. I see that we have folks coming in here, joining in. We're going to get started here right at the top of the hour. So hang tight. We'll get started soon. Want to make sure that audio's working. I can see the chats, that all that's going well. If you would, put something in the chat. Put a little note, something that says that you can hear me if you're in Facebook. See, we have a dozen or so folks on Facebook, it looks like. About another dozen or so on YouTube. A few more on YouTube than Facebook at the moment. But if you're on either platform and you just type something in the comments or in the chat portion, I think on YouTube it's called chat. On Facebook it might be called a comment. Just type something in. Let me make sure that you can hear me and that I can see your comments. There we go. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Great. Thank you, CB. Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that. We do have people that attend the workshop more than once, and so I'm curious, any second timers? Everyone a first time attendee? Thank you, Tony. Thanks, Denise. Appreciate that. Already a generous crowd. I like it. Thank you. Socrates. I like that. Is that a play on soccer by chance? Maybe not, but that's what it makes me think of. Obviously, Socrates, but sort of, double dipping there. Great, thank you. Thanks, everybody. First time for Patricia. Good. All right, thanks, Patricia. If you haven't already gotten your cup of water or cup of tea or whatever it is that is your preferred drink, if your preferred drink includes alcohol, it's up to you. Won't hold it against you if you decide to imbibe, but wouldn't mind if you waited till after. Any belligerent comments, we'll know that you've been enjoying. Okay, Kathy, thanks. Good. Wish you had a different platform. Yeah, that's always something that we consider doing. It's always, well, frankly, Kathy, it's the ease. So Facebook and YouTube made it easy for us to put both of those platforms up at once. So, yeah, we do lean on that. But I don't disagree with you. Great, Diane. Christine, good. Thank you, Christine. Again, I see we have people actively joining in, so must have had our text messages go out. So that's great. We'll get started right at the top of the hour, so if you haven't yet taken a quick bathroom break perhaps, or gotten a cup of tea or some water or whatever the case may be, I encourage you to do that. Go ahead and get that taken care of. I think if I were at home right now and I were going to watch a presentation as you are, I probably would be looking at some decaf coffee or tea myself. Saw one person said that they were a first timer. Any other first timers? People here for the first time? We do have people that join the workshop multiple times, so I'm always curious to see what kind of mix of folks we have. in attendance. Okay, yeah. A lot of first timers as well. Okay, great. Okay. Well, very good. Well, that's good. I don't do the presentation differently. So those who attend more than once either had a question they wanted to get answered, possibly, or they, hi Debbie, okay, great, first time for you, or they just need to hear it a second time. So you could decide at the end for yourself if this is something you feel you'd like to hear a second time. Great, CB. Cool. Did anybody go get a beverage? Again, if you're just joining in, I see we had quite a few join in just over the last couple of minutes. So we'll get started right at the top of the hour. We are going to get rolling here soon. I know text messages are rolling out to people still. So we're expecting a full house, if you will, as much as you can have a full house in a live stream workshop. But that'll be fun. Okay, Debbie's ready to learn all she can. Great. Another Debbie who's here with love. That's great. Cynthia, hi. Okay, cool. Patricia, the presentation just goes usually right around an hour. Seltzer water, my favorite. Great, Kathy. You and I can be friends. That is one of my favorites. Did you make it yourself or out of a can or a bottle? Are you a soda streamer? Hi, Quintina. Quintina. Okay, great. Turning 62 in October. Ready to get learning. All right, very good. SodaStream. All right, cool. Do you have any problems replacing those containers? We like them, but good grief. Those SodaStream canisters are hard to find a good spot to swap them out. Oh, great, another soda streamer, great. Sparkling wine, Renee, all right, good. Good. Not too crazy, okay? Wait, which one are you doing? You doing red wine or are you doing sparkling wine? Unless there's two Renee Beverleys. Are you one of each? If you're one of each, you're in trouble. Slow down. Not from Brazil or soccer play. Okay, all right. Well, not Brazil. Did I say Brazil? Socrates was what I was thinking. But okay, all right, cool. Okay, nope. Nope, you don't have trouble. Okay, all right. Well, lucky you. Hi, everybody. Okay, come on in. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. We have people actively joining, so we'll get going here in just a minute. Presentation is just around an hour, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. We got some wine drinkers this time. All right. Keep those questions calm and cool. I'm just teasing, of course, but that is one of the nice things about, we used to do these in face-to-face, so we fly all over the country and do these face-to-face. And and I always thought, hey, I wonder what it would be like if we allowed alcohol, if we somehow arranged to have that catered in. So you guys can tell me if you think that's a good idea or not at the end. Hi, Sarah. Mendy's turning 62. All right. Okay. Yep. We'll cover stuff like that for sure. Ruth Ann is asking if this is a presentation about investing. No, it's about Social Security. So how to make sure you get the most out of your Social Security benefits. So nope, not this one. We might talk a little bit about some investments, but not really, not that much. Just only in the sense of somebody's retirement plan. All on Social Security. Hello, all right. We're 2 minutes out. Quick, run to the restroom. Go get your cup of tea, water, decaf coffee. I would probably be doing a cup of tea or a cup of decaf coffee myself. That would be my go-to. I think a cup of decaf coffee, maybe hazelnut, with a little dark chocolate. I think that would be my go-to. Now I just sent a bunch of you. Half the room just left, walked to their kitchen to brew some decaf coffee and get some chocolate. So come back. We got 1 minute, only a minute. Okay, great, Christine. Yep, you got some decisions. You too, Elaine. Hi, John from Kentucky. A lot of my family's from Kentucky, so. Louisville and Cynthiana and Bowling Green. So I got them all over the place in Kentucky. If my deadbeat, okay, I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll touch on that if you got any questions about it later. Great, Kathy. All right, we got some hazelnut coffee lovers. All right, it's time to get rolling. Okay, welcome everyone. My name's Kyle McCauley. I'm one of the national presenters here at Einstein Retirement Workshops. And today's presentation is on Social Security benefits. It is our most popular presentation. It's the one that we do the most often, and it is our most requested presentation that we do. And so we're glad that you're here. We're looking forward to doing another one of these and presenting this to you. Let me just give you a little agenda for our time together. So we're going to spend a little more than an hour on the topic of Social Security. At the end of that hour time together, we will talk about how you can get access to this Social Security filing workbook. We want to make sure that you're able to get your copy. We're going to make sure that you get that copy, and we'll talk about how to do that right at the end of the presentation. Also, at the end of the presentation, we will have a discussion about questions and answers. So your questions, you can put them in the chat or comment section. For those of you who were sending in chats and comments, you saw me highlighting those, and so I will do that during the Q&A, and I'll answer your questions, just as many as I can in the time that we have together. Okay, again, my name's Kyle McCauley. I want to share with you just a little bit about my background and my focus as someone who's doing this presentation, but also in my daily work, because I think it'll just help you have an understanding of my perspective when I do this presentation. So I am the managing partner of City Center Financial, which is a retirement planning firm. And so in that capacity, obviously we're working with folks, many of which I'm sure are very similar to you, who are gearing up for or are already in retirement. And so when we think about Social Security, when I do this presentation, I have in the back of my mind folks just like you coming to mind as I'm thinking through this and presenting this to you, because we help our clients with Social Security decisions all the time. In addition to that, I'm a chartered retirement planning counselor, an accredited portfolio management advisor, and a national Social Security advisor certified professional. We're not employed by nor are we affiliated with the Social Security Administration. However, we are able to provide advice to you about your Social Security benefits because of our registered investment advisory firm, City Center Advisors. Why is Social Security such a hot topic? Why do we have so many of you on here today? Why did we have so many others just like you on last week and the week before that and the week before that? Because there are so many of you who are gearing up for making a decision about when to file for benefits. About 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every single day. It's about 70,000 a week. 280,000 a month, 3.64 million new folks per year are turning the ages that would start entitling them to benefits like Medicare and Social Security. So that brings up issues of insolvency. You know, it's a lot of dollars that are used to flowing into the system. Now people are retiring, they're not working. Now the dollars are coming out of the system. What could that mean to you? So we'll talk about that. Social Security for most Americans makes up a very large percentage of their retirement income. 65% of middle-income Americans derive more than 50% of their retirement income from their Social Security benefits. And that would be true even for those who have done a good job of saving other forms of retirement income, whether that's accumulating a pension or putting dollars into a 401k plan or something like that. Since 1985, American corporations have been eliminating pensions. We've also seen pensions get reduced. We've seen pensions get frozen. Unfortunately, we've seen pensions get reduced even after people have started claiming their benefits. So that has enhanced the need for Social Security and how important that lifetime income from Social Security is. 46% of Americans today pass away with less than $10,000 to their name. That stat is not there to frighten you, but what it's there for is to remind us about one of the critically important features about your Social Security benefits. If you ask yourself, do I insure the important financial things in my life? The answer is probably yes. Do you insure your house? Sure. How about your car? Of course. Health? Yeah. Retirement? Yes. Social Security is a form of retirement income insurance. So, why do I frame it like that? Why do we think about Social Security? Why do we frame it into our retirement plan as retirement income insurance? Because so long as you are still living, if you are ever entitled to any benefit, they will pay those benefits to you so long as you're still alive. That could be important to have an income that you can outlive. Married couple, age 65, gentlemen, you have a 50% chance of living all the way out to age 92. Ladies, you have a 50% chance of living all the way out to age 97. People live much longer than they're expecting to in many cases. My granddaddy is a great example of this. He lived till age 92 himself, having passed away from old age. It was December of last year. It wasn't COVID, it was just old age. He had 4 heart attacks and 3 bypass surgeries before the age of 75. If you'd asked him, do you think you'll live to 92? He would have smiled, laughed a little bit and said, I don't think so. But medical technology and my granny, and he made it all the way to 92. Currently the oldest living person. I don't know how long you'll live. Maybe you could beat this gal. Kane Tanaka, she's 118 years of age. She is from Japan. Interestingly, of the last 5 oldest living people, 4 of them were from Japan. So we just want to make sure that you know that if you're thinking about relocating, you might want to consider Japan. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. Some basics about how your benefits work, how they're calculated. Talk about strategies for those of you who are married, options for those of you who are divorced, options for those of you who are widowed or are widowers, and then we'll hit taxes. If you fall asleep somewhere in the middle, please do make sure you wake up in time for taxes, because I can tell you from direct experience in having worked now with hundreds of folks personally, and our organization having helped now thousands of folks make high quality Social Security filing decisions, if there is one single item that can take two strategies that kind of seem mostly the same and say, nope, we're not going this way, we're going to file this way, it's that tax question. Let's talk about how your benefits are calculated, how they work. In order to qualify for a Social Security benefit, you need to have 40 credits. If you're not sure if you have 40 credits, you can log into Social Security at ssa.gov. And one of the first things that you'll see are little green check marks that run across your screen, and at the end you'll see a big one if you have 40 credits. If you have all 40 credits, you qualify for a benefit. Not sure how many credits or how you earn those credits? Well, you earn 1 credit per year if you have earnings that exceed $1,470. So you can earn up to 4 credits per year, roughly 10 years worth of work. The way your benefit is calculated once you have qualified for that benefit is by using the highest 35 years of indexed earnings. It's not the most consecutive 35 years. It's not the last 35 years. It's the highest 35 years no matter when those years occurred. For example, if you worked 20 years, took 5 years off, worked another 15, that's totally fine. There's no negative impact for missing those 5 years unless, you replace them with much higher income. Okay, but you still have all 35, and so there's no penalty there. Okay, it's just the highest 35 years no matter when they occurred. But it's not the highest 35 years of earnings, it's the highest 35 years of indexed earnings. Indexed earnings means that on page 3 of your Social Security statement, if you look at that, you will see an earnings history table that shows you all the dollars that you paid Social Security taxes on over all the years that you had been working. If you look at those numbers go into an indexing table when your benefit is calculated. Now, they don't show you that on your statement, so if you want to see what that looks like, inside of the workbook that we're going to send to you, you could take those earnings history, that earnings history table and plug it into that indexing table in your workbook. That indexing table, what it will do is you can plug those numbers in, and then it'll have a multiplier next to it, and that multiplier is different based upon the year that we're talking about. For example, let's say you had income of $20,000 in 1980. $20,000 on that table, you would see $20,000, you'd write that in, and then you'd see times, and it would be 4 and change. So $20,000 earned in 1980 is like having $80,000 in today's dollars, and so that's what Social Security is using when they're calculating your benefit, an $80,000 number. So just because you continue to work today doesn't necessarily mean you're increasing your benefit. You have to replace a lower income year in the past. So if that were my lower income year in the past, I have to earn more than $80,000 to replace that year and increase my benefit for the future because of my work. Now, what happens in a scenario where you don't have all 35 years? Let's say you have 25 years. In that scenario, what Social Security does is they take those 25 years, index them for inflation, and then they add 10 zeros when they do your benefit calculation. So what that means is that any additional work that you're doing today is replacing a 0 and should give you a decent increase in your benefit in the future. There are some things that can reduce your benefits. One is a government pension. And if that government pension is non-covered, meaning that it is a pension that you are not paying taxes into Social Security while you are earning it. If you have a pension like that, it is a non-covered pension, and you have to deal with the windfall elimination provision if you also qualify for a Social Security benefit. The calculations for this are in your workbook. They're a little complicated. They have to do with the number of years of substantial earnings that you have. But suffice it to say that the windfall elimination provision cannot reduce your Social Security to zero. However, if you don't have your own Social Security and you're thinking to go file for a spousal Social Security benefit, then what you do is you take 2/3 of your pension and you subtract that from the spousal Social Security, and if the resulting number is negative or zero, then you get nothing. So the GPO, government pension offset, can reduce your Social Security to zero. The windfall elimination provision cannot. And again, those calculations are in your workbook. You have been paying a lot of money into Social Security. I think you know this, but if you don't, I'll be the bearer of, well, whatever kind of news, however you'd like to take this. When you were working, or if you're still working, you pay 6.2% of your pay up into a limit. This year's limit is $142,800. 6.2% of that has been going into the Social Security system over the last 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years you've been working. Your employer contributed the other half of that for a total of 12.4% of your pay. Unless you were self-employed, then you got to pay both. Now, those contributions into your plan are not in an account tied to your name. You would almost think that's how it works, but it's not. This is a pay-as-we-go system, meaning dollars flowing into Social Security right now are leaving the system today to pay current recipients. So if you're working and you have a friend that has Social Security, you can ask them to thank you for paying for their benefits. Okay, it's a pay-as-we-go system. We're fully funded on that plan through the year 2035, but technically we're in the red. Social Security owns Treasury bonds, and so they're selling them right now, and those dollars are being depleted. And we're fully funded on Social Security through 2035. In 2036, we're funded only 75 cents on the dollar thereafter. So, what are they going to do? Are they going to cut everybody's check by 25% in 2036? No. This is not the first time Social Security has been broke. What they will do is they will reduce benefits for your children and grandchildren. Some version of what you've already experienced. You have reduced benefits compared to your parents. Doesn't mean you have a lower benefit, but it is reduced comparatively. Your parents had a full retirement age of 65. When they fixed Social Security in one of the times gone by, they changed it to where you have a full retirement age, the oldest of you at 66. Many of you have a full retirement age of 66 and some number of months, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, something like that. And some of you are young enough to have a full retirement age of 67. So, what will they do to your children and grandchildren? Probably take that full retirement age and bump it up another year to 68, maybe even 69. There's even talk of pushing it all the way to 70. You all can file as early as 62. They may say, nope, no more of that. You got to wait till 65. So they'll reduce benefits for your children and grandchildren to solve this problem. How exactly will they do it? That is yet to be seen. Your full retirement age benefit is based on your primary insurance amount. Your primary insurance amount is the amount that is estimated for you on the very front page of your Social Security statement. That big bold number in the upper right corner is your estimated primary insurance amount. If that number says $2,000 and you file at full retirement age, you will receive 100% of that amount, so you'll receive $2,000. If you file early, you are allowed. You can file as early as the age of 62. Filing at 62 will turn $2,000 into $1,500. It's a 25% reduction. The reductions are actually monthly, not annual. So every month that you file early off of your full retirement age, you'll see a little reduction. However, you can do the reverse and delay past your full retirement age and get a monthly increase, which works out to 8/12 of 1% or 8% per year, simple interest, and you could delay all the way till age 70 earning what are called delayed retirement credits, turning a $2,000 benefit into as high as $2,640 by age 70. There are actually three distinct benefits you can file for. The first one is a retired worker's benefit. This is a benefit that you're entitled to based upon your own work history. We also have spousal benefits. Spousal benefits are benefits you're entitled to based upon a spouse's work history or an ex-spouse's work history. Then we also have widow or survivor benefits. These benefits are benefits that you're entitled to based upon a deceased spouse's work history or a deceased ex-spouse's work history. The last time Social Security law was changed was in October of 2015, and basically what they did is they took away all the fun stuff. No more file and suspend, get a lump sum check, start with one benefit, switching around. None of that, with one exception. This is a rapidly diminishing group. I'll cover it quickly. If you have questions, we can come back in the Q&A. But if you were born before January 2nd of 1954 and you have not yet filed for Social Security and you have access to a spousal or ex-spousal benefit, you may do a restricted application which allows you to file for that spousal benefit without touching your own, allowing you then to delay till as late as age 70 and then thereby maxing your benefit. Okay, for everyone else, including that group, there's just a couple of things to remember about filing for benefits. Number one, if you file for benefits and then say, wait a second, I wish I hadn't done that, you may rescind your application and reset your benefits as though you never filed, one time only. You have to do it within the first 365 days from filing, and any dollars you've received up until the point of trying to rescind, you must pay those dollars back before they'll reset your benefits. So do be aware of that. Secondly, you are allowed to suspend your benefits at any time for any reason. Suspending your benefits tells Social Security to simply stop paying you. Now, why in the world would you ever want to do that? Well, let's imagine for a minute that you were laid off from a job. You're laid off from a job and you filed for Social Security. A few months go by. Hey, your job's back. Or you have a friend who knows a friend says, hey, I got a job. You'd be great. And you say, sure, why not? I'll go back to work. And so then you're back working again. You have Social Security. You don't really need the Social Security. You can suspend benefits at that point, and as long as you're younger than 70, any increases you're entitled to from the point of suspension until as late as age 70, you can earn those delayed retirement credits. Okay, so that's the reason why you might suspend. Okay, let's talk about spousal benefits. In order to qualify for spousal benefits, you need to have been married for at least 1 year. In addition to that, this is a term that's called deemed filing, which means that in order for you to file a spousal benefit, the spouse that you're filing on must have filed their benefit. Also, there's no double dipping on spousal benefits. You can't get part of your own and part of a spouse. It's not how it works, okay? You get the higher of the two, either your own or your spousal, the spousal being 50% of that spouse's primary insurance amount. So if my wife has a $2,000 a month benefit, half of that is $1,000, I would be looking to that as my spousal. But if I have my own benefit of $1,200, I say goodbye to that spousal. My $1,200 is more. That's all I get. I don't get that plus none of that, okay? Okay, it's up to 50% of the spouse's primary insurance amount, not what they're getting. So if my wife files early and I wait till full retirement age, I still get my full spousal. If my wife files delayed and I file also delayed because maybe we're the same age, I don't get any increases, okay? So it's 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, not benefit amount. So if John's primary insurance amount at his full retirement age is $2,000, Jane is eligible for half of that at her full retirement age, $1,000. Now, if Jane wants to file early, she is allowed so long as John has already filed, but there is a reduction, pretty big reduction. rather than turning a $1,000 benefit into $750 by filing early at 62, 75%, it's not $750, it's only $700. So spousal benefits reduce at a faster rate. So if you want to think about it like extra penalties for spouses who file early, maybe that's a fair way to say it. Okay, the second thing to say is that if we delay past full retirement age and it's our own benefit, we can turn $1,000 into $1,320. But if that $1,000 is a spousal benefit, I can't turn it into $1,320. I cap out at $1,000. So there's no incentive for spouses to delay past full retirement age. Very common scenario. My wife wants to delay till 70 and get $2,640. We're the same age. I don't want to delay because there's nothing in it for me. But I have my own benefit of $500. That's less than her $1,000, so I'm thinking spousal. But she doesn't want to file at full retirement age. What should I do? I should start at my own benefit of $500 at 66, and then once she turns 70 and files for her benefit, I'll go from $500 to the full $1,000. Survivor benefits for my married couples works like this. When one of you passes, only one Social Security benefit remains, and it's always the higher of the two. My wife has $2,000, I have $1,000. She passes away, I say goodbye to my $1,000, I keep her $2,000. She has $2,000, I have $1,000. I pass away, I take my $1,000 with me, she keeps her $2,000. Doesn't matter which one's higher, that's the one that's left for the surviving spouse. If the higher wage earner filed early and got a reduced benefit, the 82.5% rule says that is the minimum for the surviving spouse. So if my wife had filed at 62 and was only getting $1,500, if she predeceases me, I would get a bump up because of the 82.5% rule from $1,500 to $1,650, 82.5%. Two most common mistakes we see married couples make. Remember, this should be considered Social Security as retirement income insurance, or again, we could say longevity insurance, because these benefits will pay either to myself or to my spouse no matter how long we live. Yes, only one check though. So, most common mistake is that the higher wage earner files early and shortchanges that survivor's benefit. So if my wife has a higher benefit of $2,000 and she delays till 70 and then passes, I will get $2,640. But if she files early at 62, I get the little bump up because of the 82.5% rule, but I'm only getting $1,650. So I'll get almost $1,000 more per month if she delays till 70 and then passes versus if she files early and then passes. So if anyone is going to delay, it's always going to be that higher wage earner, because we don't want to leave a surviving spouse in a financial lurch, if you will, simply because we didn't live quite as long as we were expecting to. Okay, second mistake. This comes from our experience in coordinating Social Security benefits with tax planning. It almost never makes sense, not universally, but it is rare that it's going to make sense for both of you to delay past full retirement age. Generally speaking, one spouse is going to file early to some degree or another, and one spouse is going to delay to some degree or another. Let's talk about divorced spouse benefits. In order to qualify for a divorced spouse benefit, you need to have been married for 10 years in a row to the same person. Okay, married 5 years, divorced, remarried 7 years, divorced. 5 plus 7 does not equal 12. Okay, one of those two stints has to be at least 10 years for divorced spouse benefits to be available. So I know that none of you came on here for marriage counseling, but if you need a reason to hang on, there you go. Okay, you may not be currently married if You have a marriage that lasted more than 10 years and you divorce that person, and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to file some ex-spousal benefits, but you have remarried. Say goodbye to those divorced spouse benefits. You're only dealing with your own benefit or your new spousal benefit. The ex-spousal benefits are out of the picture if you're currently married. Same benefit amounts in terms of extra penalties for divorced spouse benefits when you file early, and no increases for delaying when you wait till 70 apply to ex-spousal benefits, as did also regular spousal benefits. The one major difference between divorced spouse benefits and regular spousal benefits is our last bullet point, and that is that you are independently entitled to file for your ex-spousal benefits so long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years. If my wife and I are the same age, which we are roughly, she's a few months older, but if we're roughly the same age and she wants to delay till 70 and I have no work history, I also have to delay till 70 to file. But if we've been divorced for at least 2 years, then I can file independently of when she files. She can file whenever she wants. I can file whenever I want, so long as we've been divorced at least 2 years. If you were born before January 2nd of 1954, and you have not already filed for a Social Security benefit, and you have access to an ex-spousal benefit, this could be particularly advantageous to you for the restricted application. Okay. One goofy thing about divorced spouse benefits. If you can manage to fit a few 10-year marriages into your lifetime, good for you. I'm not sure if I should congratulate you or not, but in any case, if you manage to pull that off and they're all younger than you, and you hit 62 and file for your own Social Security, a couple of years go by, that younger spouse turns 62 and their spousal is more than yours, you can switch. And if you conjure that up again and another younger spouse hits 62 and that one's higher than the first one, you could switch again. As many 10-year marriages as you can manage to fit in to your lifetime. Two most common questions that we hear from divorced folks. Number one is sort of a lengthy version of one, but I'm divorced. My ex is going to file off of me. Is that going to affect me somehow? No, it will not. I'm divorced. My ex is going to file off of me. I'm remarried. My new spouse is going to file off of me. Are they going to affect each other? No, they will not. I'm divorced and have managed to fit a few 10-year marriages into my lifetime, and I'm going to die young. No, just kidding. I'm also remarried. So just a little stress. Anyway. All right, so if you in fact have multiple 10-year marriages and you're remarried, all these people can file off of your work history. Your new spouse can file off of your work history. And yes, in fact, if you predecease them, they are all entitled to widow benefits. It is allowed. I'm divorced. I'm going to file off of my ex's work history. Will they know that I've done that? No, they will not. Okay? Social Security does not notify them. It doesn't affect them in any way. The only way that they would know is if you told them. Let's talk about widow benefits. In order to file for widow benefits, you need to be 60. Widows are the only group that can file as early as the age of 60. If you were widowed prior to reaching the age of 60, you must remain unmarried until reaching the age of 60 in order for the widow benefits to be retained. The very first workshop I ever did, gal in the back raised her hand during the Q&A portion and said, so if I understand this right, it sounds like I should delay the wedding? Well, in her case, it was kind of a big deal. So this was a June workshop. She was slated to be married in September, but she didn't turn 60 until March of the following year. Here was her situation. She was thinking to file a widow benefit in March of the following year, just under $2,000 a month. Very nice widow benefit. However, if she remarries in September, the widow benefits go away, no longer available. which means she's only eligible for her own benefit or her new spousal benefit, and she's got to wait till 62 to get those. The age 62 benefit on her new spousal benefit was the higher of the two, and it was a little under $1,500. So basically the situation was, I got to wait 2 years to get $500 a month less. Yeah, we kind of recommended you might want to delay the wedding. So I think this is funny because I'm a religious person. You can decide how you feel about it for yourself. But she went to her priest and said, so can we just do the religious part of the ceremony and sign stuff later? And the priest said, no. I said, there's got to be another priest. Somebody will do this for you. But she was very devout, and the wedding was delayed. All right, last bullet point. You have to have been married a minimum of 9 months prior to the death of your spouse in order for widow benefits to be available. However, this provision is not here to hurt people. It is here very specifically to prevent deathbed marriages. Minimum of 9 months can be waived with a document. There's forms you can send in. Here's the real life example I've run into with this. Gal was married later in life. Husband was in the armed forces. He was shipped overseas, killed in action. They'd been married less than 6 months. She assumed widow benefits will not be available. However, it wasn't as though he had a terminal illness or some known reason why he would be passing. We submitted documentation to say as much, and her widow benefits were reopened. Another case study for widow benefits. John, never elected, died at the age of 64. His benefit at his full retirement age would have been $2,150. We never met John. Jane was 5 years younger than John. Well, yeah, that's the right way to say it. When he died, she was 59. She did remain unmarried. We met her at one of our workshops. She was 60 years old, and she's trying to figure out what the heck to do about these widow benefits. Jane's estimated benefit on her own earnings, because she does have a work history, $1,197 a month if she files at 62. The most common thing that we would see Jane do is that she would file for widow benefits. John passed, she could use a little extra income, so she goes and files for those benefits. At the age of 60, she starts collecting $1,537 a month. If she collects that until she passes at the age of 85, that is $461,100. If Jane is still working, she can't file for widow benefits yet, most likely because of the earnings test. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So one thing that Jane might want to consider is, let's say she's going to work a couple more years. The real Jane was planning to do that. If she works a couple more years, she's actually better off starting with her own benefit of $1,197 at the age of 62. She collects that until she reaches her full retirement age and then switches to John's benefit, $2,150 a month. If she does it that way, she gets more than $77,000 more for filing like this rather than just starting with the widow forever. Now, here's the other side. Jane could, if she was ready to retire, she could start with the widow. If she does, though, she should switch to her own at 70. I know you will all be amazed to hear this, but she won't get a phone call from Social Security on her 70th birthday saying, "Hello there, Jane. Hi, yes, this is Social Security calling. We'd like you to know you're missing out on some money. You should switch to your own benefit." I know you're all amazed to hear that that phone call will not come, but it doesn't come, okay? So Jane has to know to switch. But if she switches, she can take her small $1,197, increase it to full retirement age, earn delayed retirement credits till 70, and turn it into $2,108. More than $100,000 more over her lifetime simply for knowing her options. Now, I'm often struck by these numbers, 400, 500,000. I mean, not uncommon. This is a single person for a married couple to be over $1 million. Really not uncommon these days to see a married couple over $2 million. These are a lot of benefits, okay? For many of us, a Social Security decision may be one of the single biggest financial decisions that we ever make. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir because you're here, but do take it seriously. This is a big deal. It's a lot of money to you. You are able to work and collect Social Security at the same time. The part that will get you into trouble is if you are younger than your full retirement age. If you are younger than your full retirement age and you have earned income, W-2, 1099, self-employment, and you want to file for Social Security simultaneously, Social Security cares about your income. How much do they care? Well, they don't care about the first $18,960. But anything above that, they start caring, and they care about $1 for every two above the limit. Let's say you have an income of $58,960. The math will be easy. You'll see that. $58,960 is your annual income. They don't care about the first $18,960, so we take that off, leaves us with $40,000 above the limit. Social Security cares about $1 for every two above the limit, so we chop it in half. 1 for 2, chop it in half. So we are ineligible to receive $20,000 of Social Security benefits if we have an income of $58,960 and we're younger than our full retirement age. Let's imagine that the Social Security benefit that we're filing for is a $2,000 a month benefit. $2,000 goes into $20,000 10 times, meaning you will not receive a check in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Then you will receive a $2,000 check in November and a $2,000 check in December. Some people mistakenly assume that they simply reduce your check, but you still get something all year. No, they simply will not pay you anything until you have paid back what you were ineligible to receive. Now, once you reach your full retirement age, the earnings test goes away. You can earn any amount, claim Social Security at the same time, and there is no earnings test. You just got to worry about taxes. We'll go to that next. In the year that you turn your full retirement age, but before you turn your full retirement age, your earnings test goes up to $50,520, and it's $1 for every 3 above the limit, and this almost never applies to anyone, so we'll move on. All right, taxes. Taxes is probably the single biggest issue when it comes to filing for Social Security. Here's why. Social Security is tax advantageous income so long as you manage the other sources of income in a way that allows you to enjoy the tax advantaged nature of Social Security. It is possible to have Social Security benefits 100% completely tax-free. However, most people pay some amount in taxes. The question is, how much tax and when do I start paying? Well, for that we turn to this wonderful publication produced by the IRS every single year, Publication 915. It is a 33-page report from the IRS that will detail out for you everything you could possibly want to know about how you'll pay taxes on Social Security. Why does it take 33 pages? Because the government hates you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, because it's the IRS. You ever read your tax documents? All right. There are some helpful things. Maybe this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but there are helpful things, if you're mathematically inclined, in this Publication 915. This one is a worksheet that will detail out for you the 19-step process that you must go through to figure out how much tax you will owe on Social Security. Line 1 is the most important line and will allow us to have a discussion that is not going through all 19 steps. Okay, so Don't worry, we're not going to go through all 19 steps. What we are going to do is I'm going to highlight some things that you should have in mind when you're thinking about how these taxes on Social Security could be affecting you. If you are single and you have a line 1 income, that's called provisional income, of more than $25,000, you start paying taxes on Social Security. Married couples, if that line 1 provisional income is over $32,000, you start paying taxes on Social Security. You say, whoa, 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 what? I don't know this provisional income. What is this, Kyle? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let me tell you what provisional income is. Provisional income is 3 things. Number 1, all the sources of income that you have, adjusted gross income. So that'd be rental income, any wages that you have, annuity income, pension income, 401k withdrawals, interest income, dividend income, all the sources of income that you have. Plus non-taxable interest. So if you have municipal bonds, you probably got those for some tax-free interest. Well, that interest does count towards this provisional income number. Number 3, 50% of the Social Security benefits that you're receiving count towards provisional income. I know you'll all be amazed to hear this, but they've never increased these numbers to keep up with inflation. And this number was introduced in 1983. This number also, these 2 numbers, the bigger ones, were introduced in 1993. I think times have changed a little bit, but these numbers haven't. So unfortunately, most people do pay tax on Social Security. The question is how much tax and how can we avoid paying too much? This is where it gets tricky. If you have Social Security, pensions, maybe some investment income, and you're cruising along through retirement just fine, and then one day you decide to pull some additional dollars, right? You would like to go on a trip, right? I hear travel is pretty hot right now. People are pent up from last year and they're ready to go. They're ready to go do some of the things that they missed out on last year. And so travel's going crazy and you're one of those. You'd like to go on a nice trip, and so you budget it out and you try and figure out how much you're going to spend. You don't want to go too crazy, but you're going to have an enjoyable time. So after it's all said and done, you budget out $10,000 for this trip. But you got to pay for it. And so you call the 401k plan that you have. Why the 401k plan? Well, it's done well. The account's grown. Seems to be doing good. And what'd you save all that money for? You saved it for you. So you're going to pull the $10,000 out of your 401k. Great. Call up the 401k plan. Hello, I'd like to pull $10,000. Wonderful, they say. We can help with that. And then they ask you a very important question. How much tax would you like to have withheld from this distribution? Oh, yeah, right, taxes. Yeah, good point. So let's say you're feeling especially prudent. So you look at your previous year's tax return and you see that you're in the 12% marginal rate. Okay, so you go back, you're the 12% tax bracket. You get on the phone, you say, I'd like to withhold 12%. They say, no problem. Okay, you go on your trip, everything's good. Get to the end of the year, go into March of next year, and you are punching into TurboTax. Punching it all in. And what's wrong? TurboTax is broken. It says I owe money. I never owe money. I always pay enough. Unfortunately, TurboTax is not broken. Here's what happened. When you took $10,000 out of your 401k, you were above these limits. And so $10,000 came out of the 401k, and because you were above these limits, what it does in the calculation is it causes additional Social Security to become taxable. It wasn't taxable before. You were still getting the income. You didn't get more income. You just added taxes that weren't previously there. 12% in taxes on this 10,000, 12% in taxes on this 10,000 that got added in from Social Security, and all of a sudden that 12% marginal rate feels like 24. That's not the bad one, unfortunately. The bad one works like this. You've been saving a lot of money into a 401k plan, building up this nice account. Maybe it's now in an IRA or it's still there or whatever. Okay, but you built it up, right? You put the dollars in, you got the matches from your employer, the market's done well, your accounts are up, great. Then you retire and you're cruising along through retirement. You're doing well. You've got some Social Security. You're pulling a little income, but not too much. You don't want to overspend. You want to make sure you have money to take care of yourself later in life. Wonderful. But you wake up one day and you are now 72. And at the age of 72, you pick up what is known as a required minimum distribution. The required minimum distribution says to you, all right, we gave you a tax break for a long time. That's done. You got to start taking it. The IRS says, mandatorily, you must pull from those 401k, IRA, 403b, 457, TIAs, TSPs, all of those tax qualified accounts. When you do, the larger the account, the more you're required to pull. You're above these limits. That's a sizable withdrawal. You add taxes to Social Security so much so that, whoops, now we're not in the 12% tax bracket anymore. We pushed up into the 22. Now it's not 12 and 12 is 24, it's 22 and 22 is 44. These are the kinds of tax mistakes that can really get you into trouble when you're planning out your retirement. The only way to avoid this stuff is to do pre-planning and to set up things, set up income strategies to try and dodge this. Social Security can actually be one of those strategies, believe it or not. Why? Well, because Social Security is actually tax advantageous so long as you properly manage your other sources of income. How can a Social Security filing strategy help you manage those sources of income? Here's a good example that will show this to you. Clients are 64 and 62. They have $34,000 in combined annual Social Security income if they file both at 62. They're going to start their retirement with $752,000 in a 401k account. They will earn 6% per year on those investments. They'll need to spend $70,000 a year to enjoy their retirement and increase that 3% per year to keep up with inflation. There are three groups of you listening to this scenario. Group number one is looking at this and saying, yeah, that's pretty close. Numbers, yeah, tweak this, tweak that, but yeah, this is pretty close. Okay, this example is going to be very meaningful to you. Another group of you is looking at this example and saying, 752,000? What happened? Didn't they have any kids? Okay, so look, if you're feeling like that's a lot of savings, then I need you to pay attention because this couple has a running out of money problem and Social Security is going to help them fix it. Okay, so hang tight. We're going to show you this. If you're looking at this scenario and you're saying 752,000, yeah. I knew you were going to say they're going to run out of money, Kyle. I knew it. They didn't save enough. They got to keep working. They got to keep putting money in those accounts. They're not ready. Well, look, this couple with only $752,000 has a tax problem. And again, I'm going to show you how Social Security can help fix it. If this couple files Social Security early, the blue lines are those Social Security benefits. The orange lines are the amounts that they're pulling from their 401k accounts. The red line is the line they have to hit to keep up with their spending need increasing with inflation. You'll notice that the yellow lines above the red line, I guess on your screen they're kind of orangey, the orange lines above the red line are increasing exponentially. That's their taxes. The reason for that is because of that double taxation process I described a moment ago. Take more income out over here to keep up with inflation, we increase tax exposure, and so we have this double taxation going on. Taxes get very large. Portfolio pressure, very high. They run out of money 14 years too soon. The only difference between this slide and the next slide is a change in the Social Security filing strategy. This couple and many other folks really would benefit well from additional tax planning, but I'm not implementing any advanced strategies in the difference between these two slides. All we're doing is changing the way that they file for Social Security. Look at what happens. If they take the early years and draw their income all from 401k accounts, they do pay a little bit more in taxes. But once they trigger those Social Security benefits, it's now covering more than 75% of their total income need, which takes all that pressure off of their investments, A. B, tax advantage from Social Security is actually being enjoyed. C, the amount in taxes being paid is almost nothing. It's not uncommon when we do pre-planning for folks to get them into a position that by the time they're on Social Security, they're paying very little and sometimes even no taxes. Also, because they took all that pressure off their portfolio, it lasts the rest of their life. If we compare the taxes year over year, yes, by not using Social Security in those early years, they do pay a little bit more in taxes. But when they optimize Social Security, look at all the tax savings that are being enjoyed. These orange lines above the blue lines are all the excess taxes that are being paid simply for filing Social Security early. Now, eventually, the orange lines go away, but they're broke, so it's not a good deal. Okay, this couple, by optimizing their Social Security filing strategy, gets $186,000 more out of Social Security. Their portfolio lasts 14 more years, and they pay $35,000 less in taxes, even though they weren't paying any taxes for 14 years. They still save in lifetime tax exposure. It's a win across the board. It's a big deal. Okay, a few things about your Social Security statement. Number one, it is a snapshot of today's numbers. No cost of living expectations are estimated. It assumes that you're working till 62, retire, file immediately. Or you work all the way till full retirement age, retire, file immediately. Or all the way until 70, retire, file immediately. It doesn't factor in, what if I work till 65 and then retire, but delay taking Social Security till 70. Unfortunately, your statement could be a little bit misleading you there. It's your work history only. No spousal coordination, no widow benefit coordination, just your work history and certainly no advice. So look, after hearing our presentation today, you may or may not feel that you could use a more individualized look, a more specific look at your individual benefit needs and how to best optimize your plans. If you feel that way, we do make available to you a special report, a personalized Social Security analysis. This analysis is something that we are making available to you at no cost, free. Why? Why are we doing that? Well, look, I would like to think that we're one of the best retirement planning firms in the country, if that's okay for me to say. And so we think that this free report gives you a good sample of the work that we do as a retirement planning firm. Why do we give out samples? Well, why does the grocery store? I assume samples are coming back at some point. But why does the grocery store give out samples? You know, it used to be whenever I go to Costco on the weekends, that was the only redeeming thing was the samples. But why do they do that? Because they think you try a sample, you say, hey, that's pretty good, and then you go ahead and make a purchase. That's the whole idea. That's our idea. We believe that this is a very good sample of the work and the value that we're able to provide to our clients, and we believe that you will see that, and that will give us an opportunity to earn the right or the privilege, maybe I should say the honor, of being able to serve you with other retirement planning or investing needs that you may have. If you think this analysis could be beneficial to you, let me tell you a little bit about what's inside of it. First of all, personalized strategies, step by step. Here's the best way to file. Here's how it looks. Here's how you're going to do it. Here's when you're going to do it, line by line. Here's exactly what it means in terms of how much you're going to receive in benefits. We'll compare some strategies. Which way is better than the other? If I file this way, does it work better than this way? We'll compare those two. And then probably the biggest value, the biggest thing that's going to set our Social Security analysis apart, that's going to make you say, holy smokes, I'm so glad I got this, is this portion of the analysis. It is our retirement income cash flow and tax analysis. This particular part of our analysis is a proprietary software tool that we paid to a lot of money, actually, and put a lot of time and effort personally into helping develop it. And it is our Retirement Defender software. What it allows us to do is to do line by line analysis of your income sources, exactly what happens to your taxes, allows us to look for pinpoint accuracy in our tax planning for Roth conversions and those sorts of things, for example. For example, this couple should do a $42,350 Roth conversion. Very exact number. It's not $40,000, it's not $30,000, it's not $45,000, it's $42,350. Pinpoint accuracy, detailed level of planning that you get with the Retirement Defender tool. Okay? Very important to us to be able to provide that value to our clients. We extend that offer for you to see how this could benefit you in this analysis, and we'd love to do that for you. Also, as a part of that, we'll look and see what kind of strategies, whether it's a Social Security strategy, a Roth conversion strategy, changing some styles of income that you're getting, from a tax perspective, what strategies are going to make the biggest difference for you, and we compare them side by side so you can see exactly what's in your best interest. Okay, if you feel that you could use some value like that, if that would be helpful to you, we're going to invite you to go to the same website that you'll go to request your Social Security workbook. Your Social Security workbook is available to each and every one of you for attending at sendworkbook.com. If you go to sendworkbook.com, you can fill out the form and we will get you your Social Security workbook. All of you are entitled to receive that for being here tonight, and we look forward to getting you a copy of that workbook. In addition, if you think that analysis would be beneficial to you, it's also available for free by going to sendworkbook.com. You'll simply say, yes, I'd like to take advantage of my analysis. Also in there, if you are getting that enhancement to your analysis with the taxes, making sure that we coordinate things that way, then we will also make available to you our Retirement Defender Screening Report. That Retirement Defender Screening Report is a proprietary report in our retirement planning process. It's the introductory part that allows us to screen for the 7 critical areas that we find are most important to make sure they're ready to go, that your retirement is ready to go, okay? That you're in the right spot, you're invested appropriately, you're taking care of things, you're making sure that your needs are going to be met over the course of your retirement, both as you get into it or are already into it, and then down the road as well. So we'll be happy to provide that to you as well, and you'll see the boxes to request that. We'd invite you to take advantage of that also. Okay, so A few things by way of disclosure, and then we're going to go right into the Q&A portion of our time. So if you have questions, make sure you're putting them into the chat or the comments section. At any time, you're welcome to go to sendworkbook.com. You can open a new window in your desktop, go there, you'll still hear me, all that good stuff. We would invite you to do that. Okay, few disclosure items. Number one, City Center Financial is my firm. We are a fiduciary firm. We're a retirement planning firm. As a fiduciary firm, we are required to be very open and transparent about several things with you. Number one, at one time we were a separate entity from Einstein Retirement Workshops. Today, my firm has acquired Einstein Retirement Workshops, and so City Center Financial does own and operate the Einstein Retirement Workshops brand. It's an educational brand that we do these workshops, provide content to the public, but we do own and operate that brand. Secondly, we are able to provide this analysis to you regardless of your location. We will do it on a video conference call. You will be working with a fully licensed, certified, and credentialed, personally trained by me advisor, someone with that National Social Security Advisor certification. Again, that is the only certification that is accredited in the nation on Social Security. All of our advisors have it. They're going to be fully equipped to be able to help you. That first introductory meeting is about helping you get organized for your analysis. So come to that meeting ready to start getting organized to get your analysis together. We want to deliver a high quality analysis to you. Look, I think you can imagine that this is going to be a little bit of a process. And I say that to you because can you even imagine taking a simplified look at Social Security? I mean, I can't, not anymore. I mean, when you start thinking about the needs that you will have with coordinating Social Security around taxes and other investment accounts, if you're going, oh my gosh, yeah, I need to make sure that I'm one of those people that actually enjoys the tax benefits of Social Security, not one of those, double taxation people, then we are of complete like mind. That is our mission, is to help people avoid those kinds of things. So it's a little bit of a process to get you this analysis, but we really hope and we know that you'll enjoy the process of working with our team to make sure we deliver this really high quality analysis to you. If we get past the point of the free stuff, the free analysis, and you want to hire our organization to help you with your retirement planning and investing needs in addition to that, then you're going to have to start paying us for those services. We will disclose all fees and costs to you, but there are two primary ways that our clients hire us. One way is by paying an hourly rate, which is based upon the experience and expertise of the advisor you're working with. The second way is through investment advisory fees. Our team has very competitive investment advisory fees. They can range depending upon the style of investing, the level of complexity in your investing scenario that we're implementing for you. But I think you'll find that our fees are much, much lower than the industry average. A couple of years ago, I actually haven't looked lately, the industry average was over 1.5%, and most of our clients are less than half of that. So just know that our investment advisory fees are very competitive. I know you'll be very happy with them, and if we get to that point, we'll be happy to talk with you about them very openly and transparently. Again, sendworkbook.com is the place to go. I'm going to start answering questions. Get your workbook. Sign up for the analysis if that's something that you feel would be helpful to you. We'd love to assist you in that process. And with that, I'll start answering these questions. Okay. Questions go way back. Let me see here. Okay, Rena Speck says, will you pay taxes if Social Security is your only income? No. The answer is no. Great question. Susan Height says, okay, thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. Okay, Pam says, I'm 65 and working full-time and collect widow benefits. What will be taxed? Well, it depends on how much your employment income is, but probably you're going to be taxed on Social Security, but it really depends on your income. You know, if you're ordinary income is less than 24, your earned income plus 50% of your Social Security is less than 24,000, you're out of the woods. Okay, no taxes on Social Security. But if you're above that, then you got to worry about it. Wanda says, what if you're single? Well, you better be paying attention to taxes. Okay, Jane says, when can I start drawing off my ex-husband's work record from Social Security? My ex-husband's. So, if you've been divorced for more than 2 years, you can start as early as the age of 62. Wanda Ramirez says, what if your Social Security disability now due to medical illness? Then you're already getting your full retirement age maximum, and so once you hit full retirement age, you'll get a letter in the mail saying they've switched you over. All it means is hypothetically you could go work if you really wanted to. Okay, Denise says, Kyle, if you have ex-spouses, how do you know if they have applied for Social Security benefits or how much those benefits are or will be to know your exact financial strategies? It doesn't make any difference what your exes do, Denise. So it's a good question, but you don't need to know. It doesn't matter at all. You're welcome. Good. Okay, Denise says, and Kyle, or even if they have died and you qualify for widow benefits. Okay, so Denise, if you want to know if you qualify for widow benefits, you can take your marriage certificate, divorce decree. You'll need to get them to the Social Security office and have an appointment, and they will be able to tell you if you have widow benefits available. Okay. John Scully says, what if my ex-wife works in the school system and am I able to get a portion of her employment earnings? Only if it's in your quadro. Pam says, if my ex-spouse, not divorced, not legally separated, but been apart since 2005, is still alive, can I claim benefits on his Social Security? Yes, but only if he's claimed. So your situation, it's a spousal benefit. You don't treat it like divorced spouse. So he has to have claimed in order for you to. Pam says, can I get a workbook by mail? I think if you fill out the form, I think we're getting it to you by mail. We might have I can't keep track of where we're at with this. I know we were trying to make an electronic version available. I'm not sure if we're there yet, but I think that's how you get it, Pam. But if you're having any issues, just send our team. I see you're on Facebook. Send a message to us through our Facebook page, and we can have that discussion with you if you're having any problems. But fill out the form. You should be able to get it. Okay, Belvia says, if I was married for 16 years and then divorced, can I draw his benefits till I retire at 68? No, I am 66. My benefits will be more. So, Belvia, the answer is no, you can't, because you're too young. Okay, I don't know if anyone told you that lately, but let me tell you, you're too young. You can't do it. So, no. You would have to have been born before January 2nd of 1954 for something like that to be available. Thank you, Al. Okay, Kim says, with the divorce spousal benefit, is the payout the full amount the ex-spouse would be receiving? Is the payout. So Kim, the divorce spouse benefit is going to be 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, then modified by the age at which you file. So if you file early, say at 62, it's a 30% reduction, or a little more if you're depending on your full retirement age. But if you wait till full retirement age, you get 50% of their primary insurance amount. Lisa asks, can I receive Social Security and wages at the same time if I stay below the earnings limit? Yes. Socrates, all right. I was married 22 years, then got divorced. He is 66 and will retire soon. I am 64 and a half. Still working, Please explain the spousal benefit and how do I go about it? When do I apply? Well, maybe never. So again, the ex-spousal benefit is going to be 50% of his primary insurance amount. If you're working, there's a chance your own benefit is more than 50% of his. And so you're going to, so you're going to either file for yours or his, whichever's higher, but you're going to need to wait till your full retirement age, most likely, depending on your income. Okay, Diane says, I will be 62 this year. Is it too early to start this process? I don't think so. I am planning to work until 66, and I have a business that I'm planning to grow as long as I can. That's great. Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing as planning too soon. Okay, I really don't think so. Okay, planning too soon is like saying, I'm going to start losing weight. No, it's too soon. You don't start losing weight yet. I'm going to start eating healthy. No, too soon. Okay, so that's sort of how I feel about planning. Okay, it's never too soon. Okay, Kim says, if you apply for the ex-spouse benefit, do you receive 100% of what they would receive, or is it a lower amount? No, you don't receive what they would receive. You receive 50% of what they would receive, assuming you file at your full retirement age. Do you pay taxes on Social Security disability? Depends on your other sources of income. If you have enough other income, then yes. Bill Webb says, I'm going to be receiving only Social Security income of $2,800 a month. What taxes will I be paying for, if any? If all your income is Social Security, then none. Kathy says, do I need to know my ex-spouse's Social Security number to claim under him? No, you do not. It's helpful, but it's not required. Juana says, waiting to answer my question. Thank you. Did I go underneath it maybe? You might want to punch it in again if I missed it. I'm sorry, Juana. Maybe punch your question in again. I think I missed it maybe. Okay, if my benefit is $2,400 and my husband's is $1,000, should he forgo his work benefit and take mine instead at half? Well, the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he was born before January 2nd of 1954. Otherwise, that's not an option. Okay. Pamela says, I just cashed in my 403B times 2, so 2 403Bs. I paid taxes. I'm 61. I did not see it as income on my Social Security earned income page. That's right. 403B withdrawals, 401k withdrawals, IRA withdrawals, that's not earned income. You don't pay FICA taxes. Will it increase my income for a higher Social Security income monthly rate? No, it will not. Heather Held says, I was married for 17 years and then divorced. I remarried 13 years later, and after 6 years, he passed away. He was disabled and on Social Security disability. I am so confused as to what I'm supposed to do. I'm still working and will be for a while. Well, Heather, you do have access to widow benefits from your late husband, the most recent one that passed away. You also would have access to divorced spouse benefits possibly, but if you're still working, that one may not really make sense. But the widow benefit's likely to help you. Okay, JC McPherson says, what are the effects of child support if this is my only source of support? I would need more context than that, JC. Effects on what exactly? Your taxes? I think they changed it where you don't pay income tax, so I think you're okay. Catherine Galfin says, if I have only rental and interest and dividend income, is the calculation for taxes done on the gross amount of rent received or after deducting expenses? After deducting expenses. I was married legally for 7 years, but we were cohabiting together for a total of 10 years. Can I still claim his Social Security? Are you divorced now? Because if you are, then no. The answer is no. I'm not sure what you're in reference to, Patricia. Okay, Pam, thank you for doing this presentation. I'm getting about $800 per month from Social Security. Barely making it sometimes. Is there a way to go get a little more? Don't mean to be greedy. Well, no one thinks you're greedy, Pam, so don't worry about that. But Pam, I'm laughing at your letting me know how to pronounce your name. I did know how to pronounce your name, but for some reason, call me prude. I know it's a horrible thing. I shouldn't even be saying this, but I just felt a little odd to say it out loud. No reason. It's all me. I can't think of anything necessarily, Pam, except for getting some more work history in, unfortunately. That's the only thing I could advise you to do. Okay, Heather, I thought I had to wait until I'm older to get the spousal benefit. Well, maybe. I don't know how old you are, Heather. So at 60, you can get widow. Okay, but then you have to worry about the earnings test if you're 60 because you'd be younger than your full retirement age. Okay, if you're getting the analysis, we'll be able to help you and answer those questions. But there are some specifics I need to know more about before we could say for sure the right way for you to do it. Okay, Juana says, if my ex collects from my Social Security, can I go after him for child support and or alimony? We were married for 15 years and been divorced for over 30. If you aren't already entitled to child support or alimony, probably not. But I'm not an attorney, so not the right person to ask. Okay, yes, we're divorced. Okay, so then the answer is no. Okay, Denise says, if you owe back child support, can child support take money you owe them from your Social Security benefit? Yes, the answer is yes. Patricia says, is it better to spend money from your IRAs to live on and delay Social Security benefits at 70 to win at the tax consequences? Yeah, well, you were paying attention, so good for you. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. It doesn't always work out. The idea is that's why we do the analyses, is to just see which one is the better way to go. But oftentimes, that can be a good deal. Okay, Janet says, I'm 65 this year. When should I retire? And can I still collect Social Security and work full time? It depends on how much you're earning. But no, you're not full retirement age yet. You have to hit full retirement age, which I believe for you is 66 and 4 months. And so you got to hit that before you can work and earn any amount with no worry about the earnings test. JC, I'm really not an expert in this area of child support and things like that, so I just don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. Thanks, Pam. No problem. Okay, 62. Okay, so you're 62. Okay, so it just depends, Heather, on when are you, how much income do you have? So if you're earning more than the $18,960, then maybe it's not going to make sense to file for widow. If you're earning a lot more than the $18,960, it definitely doesn't. If you're close, maybe it still does, okay? But it just depends. Okay. No problem, Diane. So Diane got her workbook. That's good. Okay, again, if you haven't already, go to sendworkbook.com, get your workbook, request the appointment. We'd be happy to make that happen for you, and we'll do that. It's GPO, not GOP, not the Grand Old Party, but the government pension offset. The government pension offset is if you have a government pension. So you got to be dealing with a government pension. And we now have enough comments that my comment is going haywire and I can't do anything with it anymore. That happens, I don't know how many comments, but eventually it fuzzes out on me. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comment or your question, but my screen is scrolling. I'm seeing comments that I've already looked at over and over again. So sorry for that. But what we're going to do is we'll wrap up for today. Love to see you at a future event. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, leave us a review. Let others know that you got a lot of benefit and value from this. We'd love to have you do that. With that, we'll wrap up for tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and if we see you again or interact with you either for the analysis or the future event, I look forward to that as well. Thank you, and have a great night, everyone.